Welcome back. It's been a while.
It's been too long. Y'all, it's been too long. We had a lot going on, though.
We should talk about it.
We should talk about it. Let's chat.
Let's do it. I'm Cindy.
I'm Paige.
And this is Mom's the Word, where Mom knows best.
Or at least she's trying her best.
I have been.
Oh, yeah, girl. We both have been.
We had taken a long couple weeks off.
We have.
It was my fault, guys. I'm sorry.
It was unexpected.
It was.
It was sudden.
Yes, it was.
Do you want to talk about why?
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe some of you guys didn't see like the updates because I know a lot of people were messaging us like, where y'all at? Mm-hmm. What is happening? So basically, my husband's grandma, sweet grandma, we love so much, she had passed away literally the day before we're supposed to film.
Yep.
So we got the news. It was a huge shock to all of us. Mm-hmm. Here we were trying to navigate that, like trying to figure out flights and things because Chris had to be there. Was I going? It was just a lot. And I love this lady. Like since the day I've met her, I've been in the family now 11 years. She has accepted me. Like she is the grandma of all grandmas. I'm not even joking to you guys. She's so kind. She has passed on.
Yeah.
And so it was hard for me to be like, okay, the next day I have to film 4 episodes.
Well, and Chris was supposed to be one of the episodes too, and his grandmother just passed away. There was absolutely no way he was going to be in a headspace to do that. You're also worried about him, all the things. There's too many moving parts.
Explaining to my child who loves his Gigi, like, you know, it's just a lot of things to navigate for me to just go show up the next day and be like, hi guys, happy, you know, it just wouldn't have worked. So.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been natural. I think I was also dealing with some pretty intense OCD at that point. My OCD had gotten so bad that I was just like not really wanting to leave the house, and I was becoming very consumed by it. I've had a lot of really big things happening in my life that I don't know that I feel comfortable talking about all of them just because some of it is not really my story to tell.
Right.
But it's a lot of really heavy traumatic things just freaking over and over and over again. And I finally took back that like pride that I was holding on to for not taking medicine. And I was like, I can do this on my own, and you know, all those things. And so I finally just like stopped.
We need to go more into depth in that.
Yeah.
But it has been a well needed little break, you know. For some reason it just felt right. Like we did need it. So but that's why we weren't here. But I would love to go more into depth. If you guys not have seen Paige, you know, we have talked openly. She's talked openly about some of the struggles.
Yeah.
Let me get a hair off your face real fast.
Go for it. It's on my nose.
Yeah.
I didn't even feel it.
It was a dog hair.
Oh, yeah. We do have dogs here, and I love them. I want to squeeze them all. I love animals, so.
But she's very open about her journey and postpartum.
Yeah.
And so where are you at with that, Paige? To
a fault sometimes, because I think people like to weaponize it. And I think that's where things had really kind of gotten dark for a little while. People were weaponizing it. I also had, it's so silly now that I look back and, oh my God, the video where I'm reacting to it. I wish I could hug that poor girl. She just looks so sad. The fucking Irish food video.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Y'all, that sent me on a spiral.
If you don't know what we're talking about, Paige posted a video getting a local spot that was called Irish Pub.
It's literally called Delaney's Irish Pub. I was just fucking ordering food. Y'all, this is so frustrating.
In Texas, guys. We don't know. We don't know the difference.
No. And I said, I see this girl that's in the UK eating this all the time. And they were like, you're a freaking idiot. The UK, Ireland is not in the UK. I was like, who said that? I just said this girl in the UK eats this all the time, but I ordered it from this Irish pub. I'm sorry that I distinguished the two were different. Apparently, it meant I was making them the same. Either way,
the comments were wild.
The comments were wild. The messages, the direct messages were disturbing.
Really sad.
Disturbing.
And it wasn't just like local people. Like it was,
no,
she made it to different countries,
bro.
You guys.
International hate. It was a different level. And I know that most of like the death threats side of it were children. They're teenagers. When something goes really viral, it gets put on an FYP of like the 15-year-olds that don't give a shit who you are, and they just, you know, say horrible things. And, well, I mean, you know what I think it is? I think they genuinely see something and they're like, oh, you know, your hair looks stupid. Next.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Your teeth are big. Next. You know, and they're not even thinking about the impact that their words can actually make on somebody. But it was when they brought my children into it.
Yes.
Their words became reality in my brain. And I was having nightmares, and I was getting stuck in panic attacks. And I felt like I couldn't breathe. I felt like I was drowning. And I was to the point where I was crying almost every day. I was I couldn't get on TikTok because if I was scrolling, I was seeing horrible, traumatic things that are happening in our world all over the world right now. And I will put my children's faces on it and think that it's them. And it just, I spiraled. I went into a really, really dark place mentally, and I was not doing well. I was really trying to feel better and like trying so hard to grasp that I have so much to be blessed for. And I think that I get lost in that you have to be grateful. You have so much. There's so many who have less than you that sometimes I lose the track of you're also allowed to feel sad sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's okay to feel that and not bottle it up and not shove it down and pretend like it's not there. Like it's okay to say out loud, like, yeah, my life fucking rocks. It rocks. I've got a great husband. He's got a great job. We're making good money. We're, in a successful place of life.
Yeah.
It's also equally hard.
Yeah.
There are blessings and burdens on both sides. And unfortunately, the burden side of that just became very heavy that I couldn't feel the blessing side. And so I started to question my worth and my ability to be a good mom and my ability to be a good wife or even just a normal human. I experienced like afternoon burnout really bad to the point where like I'll do 1 or 2 tasks and then I'm just fucking overwhelmed and I'm like, I can't keep up. And then I feel like I'm not a good enough mom or I'm not a good enough friend or I've not checked in. I've not done this. I've not, and there was just too much.
Yeah.
It just became too much. And that video spiraled a bunch of horrible
and when
thoughts.
you're already struggling,
Yeah.
like, at this point you're very open about, your struggles. Your OCD is real, diagnosed OCD.
Yeah, it's real.
And
now I'm in therapy for it, a different type of therapy. They have a, is it an acronym? Is that whenever it stands for something? I don't fucking know. Yeah, the acronym, they have an acronym for it, but it's like exposure therapy, if you will. So like me and my therapist, it's technically, she's a psychiatrist because my physician sent me to a psychiatrist officially. Though I have a therapist, I also have an official psychiatrist. They do exposure therapy. Like they expose me to something that would typically be triggering.
Okay.
And I am using the tools that they've given me to ground myself, to realize this is not my reality. This is not happening to me. And that it's the harder side of things, I will say, especially as I have a photographic memory.
Yeah.
So it is the harder side, but
you feeling
it's the first time I've ever done it, right? Like I've ever like listened and not just said, oh, okay, I have OCD and been like, okay, well, that's what it is. Like, I just have to live like this. This is just what I have. Now I'm realizing there are tools to help me live through it and not just in it. So,
y'all hear that? You don't got to live in it.
Oh, God.
That's why I'm so glad you've shared this because, man, so many people have related to having this and they're like, oh, that's what it is. It's not just that I'm a new mom. No, girl, it's not normal.
I've had a
all
lot
of
of
it is
people-
not normal to think like that all of the time.
I think it's normal to have fears, to
Yes.
feel
We all have them.
anxious, little things like that. But the inability to get out of that mindset and enjoy life was the difference for me because I was not enjoying life. Instead, I was afraid of it. And every little thing that came with it, I was scared of it.
Yeah.
And I was certain that me or my children or my husband or the people that I love were going to get hurt because that's just what happens in life. I'm just so used to life being bad that it's almost like I can't accept whenever it's good.
Yeah.
Because it's like I'm waiting for that next bad thing to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm trying very hard to get out of that mindset.
And I know you've talked about it and people might say like, well, you said you were doing better last month and then this month. But I think it's one of those things that you're going to constantly struggle with. Like it just shows how real of a person you are that like, oh, I can have a really great month. And then all of a sudden everything triggers me again and it brings me back to where I was before.
And it's not linear at all. Like,
Right.
Okay, for instance, I was feeling so freaking good on my meds. Like they prescribed me Cymbalta, which is great because I also have a nerve disease and it is the medication that is used to help treat the pain for that. So it's kind of like a double dipper there, which I love.
Yeah.
But whenever I started that, for the first couple weeks, man, I was like, this is fucking great. Like, I'm good. It's over. Like, I don't have to worry about anything. I had seen a few triggering videos and I was like doing pretty well with it. And I was like, all right, I've got this. And then there was that one. And I had a panic attack. And it was the first panic attack I'd had on the medication. And I just like cried to Mark and I was like, I really thought it was gone. Like I thought it was over. And he said, well, I don't think that they've given you that to make it go away. They're just giving you the tool to help you through it. So just, this is not our reality. This is not happening to you right now. And it was easier to step back out of it and be like, okay, take a deep breath, calm yourself, go look at your children, you know,
Yes.
like all those different things that they have you do. But it was kind of a slap in the face a little bit because I was like, oh shit, I thought it was
Still there.
I thought it was all gone, but no, it's still there. So we're coping, we're dealing. I'll say that I am very glad to have the support system that I have, being able to say out loud, like, hey, I'm not okay. And especially in the sense of like, it becomes a burden to be the one that always sees the danger and is always triggered by it. I hate that I go into a concert or a stadium and I immediately think, is somebody going to come in here and start shooting? And instead of just enjoying myself and having a good time, I'm looking in every situation and I start to feel that panic of it's happening. It's happening. I'm in a dangerous space. You're in danger. You need to leave. And so I don't know where my original train of thought was with this.
It's just hard to always feel that way, that you're that person who always has those emotions.
Yeah.
You know?
Because I also don't want to ruin my friends' time or my family's time.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be having a panic attack and then be like, fuck, Paige is upset again, you know?
Yeah.
Like that whole thing. It sucks. It really sucks. And I hate the whole pick me attitude where they're like, oh, this is such pick me behavior, blah, blah, blah. Pick somebody else, please. Because I
don't want this behavior.
I would literally rather anything.
Right.
I would rather rub a raw butthole on the hot Texas concrete outside than have to deal with these thoughts, okay? That's real life. It's just, you know, it sucks. I hate it, but I'm finding ways to cope.
And I love that because like for a while you weren't, you know?
No, I
You
wasn't.
were scared to take the medication.
Yeah.
Because you're breastfeeding, mom.
Right. So then the OCD took over in that sense of like, oh, you're poisoning your child. Yeah.
Never ending.
It's a constant merry-go-round of
But now you're
fear.
working towards getting the skills to help you with those because they're not going to go away, but at least you're going to kind of know how to help yourself get out of that.
Well, and I think I'm just enjoying things a little bit more. I'm going outside more, going places. I don't want to say more present because I know that I've always been present, but I feel like I'm more present now than I was just because I'm focused on the fun that we're having, not the danger that could happen.
Yeah.
So it's a relief for me because I don't feel like I'm constantly living scared.
Yeah.
Scared and anxious is how I have felt for the last 4 years. So 5 almost. Well, yeah, 5 since Boston. So it's nice to not feel like this constant doom is impending on my life and like maybe things are just going to be all right for a little bit, you know? Yeah. And that's not to say that bad shit won't happen. I know that bad shit happens. Tragic things happen to people all the time. And that just because I'm learning, you know, ways to cope with it doesn't mean that those things are not going to hurt.
Yeah.
I hope that they just will not hinder me to the point that I don't want to get out of bed again. Because when it gets to the point of me questioning, like, am I going to have to go for the rest of my life just dealing with this shit all the time? Like, is this worth it? I have to snap out of that mindset of like, well, there's no other option. Like, you have to live this life. Like, you're not just backing out of it. You have children and people who rely on you. So I have to snap myself out of that. And I've been doing a pretty good job at it lately.
Yeah. I think sometimes like you feel like maybe you're a burden on the people around you because you go through those emotions. That's including your husband, your kids.
Yeah.
That includes us. Like sometimes she'll vocalize to me like, well, I don't want to overwhelm you. Cause like I also struggle with anxiety, not the same kind, but it's one of those things where it's like, I don't want to overwhelm all these people again when it's like, you talking about it has helped everybody understand where you're coming from, you know, because nobody gets it. I'm telling you, even when I have anxiety, they're like, why do you have that? Like,
right. Just make it go away. Just calm down. Just breathe.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that'd be so great. It'd be so easy if I could just switch that part of my brain on and just breathe through it. Like I would love to, but it doesn't work that way.
So the break was much needed, as y'all could see.
It was much needed. It was forced, but in the best way. I think the universe was genuinely like, sit down for a second,
literally,
and breathe. Like y'all have a lot going on, and as well as, you know, we're self-producing this.
We are.
This is us. You know, we're making edits. We're doing all these things. We're literally searching for sponsors. I mean,
if you know anybody, please send them our way. Even the smallest person.
Like we're paying out of pocket for all these things and doing all this stuff. So it's like, that's on top of trying to keep up with YouTube, trying to keep up with TikTok, trying to keep up with being a mom of multiples. Like it was heavy.
And we're so fortunate to be here.
Yeah.
But our lives are heavy as well.
Yeah.
And during that time, so we had filmed, and in between that time, my dad was in the hospital for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I don't vocalize these kind of things. I'm very like, to my chest. Like, unless you're going to physically ask me, are you okay? I'm not going to just tell people. Like, I wish I was better at it. I really do. But I'm not good about telling people how I feel. And so my dad's in the hospital. I was dealing with that. My husband was on a trip. It was unexpected that he went to the hospital, and I had to deal with that with kids. And so Paige is dealing with her own things, and I'm in my own area, and it was very stressful. And then finally, you know, my dad gets released, and then the next week, my husband's grandma dies. And so, well, I think just life
Life was life in there
life
for a
was
second.
life in. But
And it was graduation month,
Yes.
birthday month.
Oh, yes.
I mean, we had so much
oh my God, I had
going
back-to-back
on.
birthdays. And
Literally. And then Boston's birthday was as well. And then Dylan
Yes.
graduated. Dylan graduated in June of all months.
yes. So Boston's birthday, he turned
He turned
5.
5. Oh
I
my
cannot.
gosh.
Bear turned 8. They are
Crazy.
both June.
Yeah.
They are both June babies.
Yeah.
So we had 2 birthdays.
And then you and Chris had a birthday.
Yes.
Yeah.
28. Yeah, we had our birthdays and we did Disney World for a week.
Yeah, y'all went to Disney World. That was a
really
whole
did.
thing. We did. So for well, just at the beginning of the month was Dylan's graduation.
Yes, Dylan.
Dylan graduated from high school. Is the salutatorian of
Amazing,
his
you
class.
guys.
It was really special because like he gave a speech and everything, you know, which was like witty and cute in general. But it was interesting because I don't know. I guess I just didn't think. Well, yeah, you'd be included. But he, you know, he said, yeah, I have to start off by thanking my parents for always being here for me, Mark, Azita, Paige. And I was like, oh shit, that's my name.
Aww.
I was like, I'm in that. And so, yeah, just like really sweet.
If you guys know heard Dylan, Dylan is their oldest. He is autistic.
Yeah.
So this to me like gives me chills that sweet boy was up there giving a speech. Like
speech.
how freaking proud.
He was
I
so
love
cute.
that so much. And
It
he
was
has
so
plans
good.
to go off to college or anything?
Yeah, we're enrolled in college. We're enrolled in community
Amazing.
college next year. So a whole thing. I think he may do like video game development.
Oh,
Coding.
he would be so great at that.
Little thing, yeah, so something like that. We'll see. Right now, he's really into VidCon. He's just recently really gotten to like Comic-Con and VidCon. So his senior graduation gift was to go to California to VidCon, and he had the time of his life. I mean, like I've never seen him smile bigger in pictures ever. So it was just really sweet. It was really great, but it was such a huge milestone for him to graduate. And literally the next day was Boston's birthday, and I was like, I've got one that is kindergarten age and one that's graduating. It's just so different, so crazy, and also just fun. It's just fun to be in those different stages of life and then to see everything happening. Vance, that morning, Vance took his senior pictures. Oh, because Vance is going to be a
Vance
senior
is going
this
into
year.
his senior
I mean,
year,
I cried the whole damn day. It was a lot of emotions and milestones that day. But we went to the zoo for Boston's birthday.
It was
so
you guys,
much
it was
fun.
so amazing.
It was so cute.
We were exhausted. So we
Exhausted.
literally flew in from Disney World.
This was crazy. The fact that you guys even showed up, I was like, you're such a good friend.
Listen.
This bitch, I'd have been in bed.
No, that Florida airport is crazy. We got delayed with 2 babies. They missed bedtime. Fox cried the whole trip. I cried the
we
trip.
got to talk about that too.
We will.
A baby crying on the plane is so hard
Oh my
on a
God.
mama.
But anyways, we get home at like midnight, something like that. And I was like, I'm not missing Boston's birthday party. Are you joking me? Like, first of all, they've put money into this and I'm very aware of that. Like, they had to buy tickets and things like that. And second of all, like, we love Boston. Like, we want to be there. So we showed up exhausted.
First thing in the fucking morning too.
But yes, all the way farther away from our house. Anyways, we show up. It was amazing. We got to literally feed the giraffes.
It was so cute.
Like everybody had enough time.
Yeah.
We got to see an animal show. I don't know. I'm like bragging about it, but it was literally so cute.
It was so cute. I would do things a little differently next time just because now I know the space and how it all is set up and like how everything happened. But it was worth it. It was so worth it. Feeding the giraffes was honestly
amazing.
worth the entire thing. And I was so surprised at how Juliet wanted to do it.
Oh my God, it was so cute.
Oh my gosh, Juliet was really kind of the star of that whole show.
She
She was
loved
jacking that lettuce off the pile and was like, take
Yep.
that. And then she would reach her hand back and she was like, ah, it was so cute.
And as soon as it was over, we had to dip out and we went home and
Yeah.
took like 3-hour naps. But I was just so happy to be included and it was so fun to do. And
I was so impressed and happy because I remember Boston's 4th birthday, I cried in the closet because he, when we sang him happy birthday, everybody started to sing him happy birthday and he said, stop. stop. And nobody stopped, obviously,
Yeah.
because they didn't even hear him. And then he started to just sob. And I mean, had heightened, he was very, very upset that because he had advocated for himself and asked us to stop and nobody stopped. So, oh shit, I'm breaking shit. He was really upset about it. And so I can remember crying and being like, God, is he ever going to understand that this is exciting for him? It's his birthday, you know, does he get this? And I can remember being really worried about it. This year I had to tell him, hey, I know you see the candle. Don't blow the candle out until we're all done. And we sang the song and he stood there all happy and then he blew out his candle and he was just like so proud of himself. So it's cool to see that just in 1 year's time, there's such a huge difference in my child. I think in any child, but
It was
it's
so
just
sweet
so
to
special.
see. It's so sweet to see.
And
he sat there. He did not like the owl. He said,
No,
there was
he
a
did
big owl
not.
with a hair.
Yeah, they walked up. This was so funny because I've also never seen him react like this. But they walked out with this owl, and she walked up on him real fast, and he like flew back, put his arms up, and said, "Ah!" He was like, "No, what is that?" So it was so funny. We had a good time.
Sweet though. Yeah,
It was
a
great.
good time.
It was a good June, you know. It was really just a great time to just relax and just actually take a breather for a second.
I partied it up.
Yeah, no kidding. You were out there. Y'all went to Disney for how many days?
Jay likes to tell me I'm in the streets.
Yeah.
Because I've never home.
Straight up.
We were at Disney World for 8 days.
Holy.
Guys, it was so fun though. And we took the babies, so an 8-month-old and an 18-month-old and an 8-year-old, okay? Well, he's 8. 18 months, 8 months, 18 months, and 8 years old. It was amazing. But it was hot, but it was good. It was good. I feel like people kept telling me like, how can you do it in the summertime? And I'm like, it's because I'm from Texas, guys. It's hot here.
No, I can't.
It
I
wasn't
will
that
melt.
bad. It
I'm
wasn't that
from
bad.
Texas and I can't do it.
I can do it. I don't know what it is about
Well,
me.
then again, but is the Florida heat a little different?
It's wet.
It's wet. Oh yeah, y'all were getting rained on.
You're like sticky, and it would cool us down.
Yeah.
But it was good. Overall, we had a good time. Like we flew out at like 5 a.m. and so the kids did well the first flight. But Fox wore me out the first flight. Okay, for like 2.5 hours straight, I pulled out every single thing that I ever had in my bag.
Every fidget, every coloring book.
I was prepared.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it.
No, that didn't work. And all these people are sleeping because it's 6 a.m. and I'm like,
Right.
Fox, you have to be quiet. Yeah. Dad, and Dad wasn't sitting by us, he's in front of us, and so like the whole time he's like talking, and I'm like, oh well, everybody. And at this point, I'm in good spirits because I'm like, he's happy, he's not crying.
Yeah.
No, the flight home,
Pissed off.
no, literally gives me anxiety. So we are supposed to board at 7:30.
I remember when you texted us and you were like, "Oh my God, they've messed up the schedule." Nothing stresses Cindy out more than you messing up the schedule.
Because we were supposed to board at 7:30, so I'm like, oh, my kids are gonna go to bed. I had bottles ready. I was ready, right? I brought the sleep sacks on. We get on the plane. We're making the bottle. Fox is seeing it. He's straight chilling. The baby's chilling. They don't take off, and we're sitting there, and I'm like, like, and I don't want to pull nothing out because I'm prepared for the flight. Because if you're not supposed to start pulling stuff out till you're in the air, you know, keep your kids preoccupied. They're about to fall asleep. I'm getting Fox. The lights are dim. They flip those lights on, and then the flight crew starts announcing, and they woke my kids up, and then they were overtired.
Oh,
Fox
no.
cried. He screamed, and I was literally so embarrassed. And at one point, Chris is trying. I'm trying. My mom's trying. And I'm like. At one point, I'm just like crying, and Chris is like, what do you want me to do? I'm like, there ain't nothing we can do.
Right. He's just going to cry.
So for literally, I'm telling you, every second of that flight, I was trying to come up with anything. Look at this paper. Look at this. Let's go to the bathroom. We stood in that bathroom for 15 minutes because I didn't know what else to do. We go back to the seat. He's crying because he has to get back in the seat. People are looking at me. So like, then I start to feel a little vocal, and I'm talking to Chris loud so people around me can hear. And I'm like, you know, he's tired. He's 18 months. Like they're going to be loud, you know, like I'm trying, but it was embarrassing. I felt so sad. And I'm a seasoned mom, guys. Like
Right.
I've done this with a lot of children.
Well, you can't control your child.
No, but people like you're not a perfect parent. They're like, why don't you control your kid? Why can't you do this? And I'm like, yo, I've had a lot of kids. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm prepared. They ain't no damn way. That boy was crying, pissed off, and he was overtired. And so, you know, like anything was making him mad. So.
Right. He's in a new space. He was like, get me out of here.
He's still giving me anxiety. Chris said, do you want to go on another trip? I'm like, no, I don't. We're
not yet.
driving. Actually, my advice for anybody taking an 18-month-old is take the car seat. I'm not even joking. You might be embarrassed to put that car seat on there, but they'll sit there. The fact that he could unbuckle that seatbelt, game over.
No.
Yeah. So we're driving.
Yeah, that would be the thing with
Drive,
Boston.
everybody.
Juliet would love it in the plane because she just wants to be held. So she
Yeah,
would
that was itty bitty.
absolutely love
She
it.
loved it.
Boston would be like, this is a toy, and I'm supposed to explore every single
Why is
bit of
everybody
this.
not talking to me? Excuse me. Hi. And they're not even saying hi to him. I was like,
Oh, you better say hi to my baby.
no,
Don't
they
be
were,
one of those
They
assholes.
were tired of my baby, and I felt bad. There was nothing that I could do.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, you're trying. It's not like you're just sitting there ignoring the baby
no,
and
I was
letting
not.
him cry.
I tried everything. I'm telling you. I was crying. I passed him to my mom, everything. Nope.
I would have cried too.
He threw that tablet on the ground. He threw the snacks on the ground. He didn't want nothing.
Oh my God. Juliet Diane is in the stage of the food on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll be like, ma'am, are we all done? We don't put it on the ground. Are we all done? She'll be like,
Yeah.
stare you right in the fucking face and drop it on the ground. I mean, like, I'm just like, oh, you little Aries are just different. Y'all are mean.
So that's where Fox is like, he's like the sweetest. And I know he was tired and I loved him through it. But it was like, I was like, do you want this? No. And I'm like, please. I even tried to suck her. Like he ain't
He
even
said,
had, he
I
never,
want my crib and my sound machine
he never even
in
had
my
a
dark
sucker.
room.
I was like, look at this. No. I'm like, I'm done.
Oh yeah, Boston's. I'd be like, do you want the ice cream? Now I've ruined myself though because now he'll go into the freezer and pick up the whole tub. And he'll be like, ice cream. So yeah.
But anyways, we made it through. You make it through.
You
do.
had texted me, and this is probably good information for any autism mom to know.
Yes.
But she texted me some really cool things about Disney that you learned while you were
Oh
there.
my gosh.
For autism moms to help.
Yeah. So we love Disney World, obviously, and they changed their policies for families with children with disabilities and children with autism, things like that. So they have a wonderful program for children with autism, families with anybody with autism, actually, that like you don't have to wait in line. You get a pass to go through like the exit or the fast line. They can stay in their wagon through the line.
That's the fact that you can take in the wagon.
Yes. And then they would take the wagon as soon as you were about to like enter right where you're going to get to the line, like the front of the line, they'll take your wagon and set it at the bottom for you. Like I watched, there was a family for some reason following us from each ride to ride. And I would see, we would wait in line. And then 30 minutes later, I would see them come up and their child who was autistic. And he looked around Boston's age, if I'm being honest. He was like 5 or 6. He would wait in there. He had all his little things and they were able to pull him out. He enjoyed the ride and walked straight down to his wagon. And I thought it was the best thing that they could do because they can't stand in line. They don't understand the concept of a line.
No, that's my thought is Boston would not have stood in a line. He would just be like, why are we here?
Yeah.
And he'd be trying to push his way through
Right.
people. And he also wouldn't understand like, wait your turn, wait. Like that's one of the things that we're working on right now. 'Cause you saw that at like the Great Wolf. Like
Yes.
he was like, fuck all these kids. I'm sliding right now.
Yeah.
So
it's a great thing. So if you're thinking about doing Disney and your child has, I think it's like anxiety or autism, things like that, they really have a great thing that your family could enjoy the park. I told Pedro, like, as soon as I see it, I was like, oh my gosh,
That's
y'all
huge.
could do this.
it's the only thing that stopped us is like
you
not
can
knowing.
definitely. Like it was amazing to see, and they treated them so nicely, and like they let him get on. If it was too loud, he was able to go to the side. Like it was such an amazing thing to see. So if you're thinking about it, definitely look into that. Yeah.
That's really cool. It sparked me to look up, like, we're going to go to the Perot Museum. It's a popular kids museum here in Dallas.
Yeah.
Soon. And so I was looking up, like, do they have days, so they'll call them like Spectrum Sundays sometimes, where they'll have like a few set hours on Sundays where you can go in where like the lights are kind of turned down a little bit. The sounds are not as extreme, everything like that. And they didn't, but they did have, like the ability that if you go into their box office, I guess they have like noise canceling headphones.
That's
and
awesome.
Fidgets
There
and
are
different
options.
things. Yes, there
Yeah.
are different things to help. So if you are an autism parent and you're feeling like there's just not a whole lot for you to do with your kid, look into it because you'd be surprised how many places are starting to really provide resources because it's normal.
Yeah.
It's normal to see children with autism now out in public and we are trying our best to break the cycle of not having things for them. So
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
that. So yeah, busy June, guys. And now we're back from a little break and we're doing well.
almost got into
End of
it. I
July.
don't think I told you this story. I almost got into it with a lady at graduation over Boston stimming. Yeah. Which, first of all, we're at a graduation. We put Dylan into a public or private school for children with autism. So every parent in that auditorium knows what it's like
Yep.
to have a child on the spectrum. The dogs are pissed off.
Our dog neighbors here.
Yep. So, super interesting. Boston was sitting with us and he could see Dylan. So he just kind of kept going, it's Dylan. That's Dylan.
Aww.
And he was like, hey, that's Dylan. Well, we're, seated in chairs. It's a very, very small class. I think there was like 12 kids in the class. Very small class. And so we're seated in chairs. Well, Boston was standing up and he kept putting his hand on the chair in front of him. And I would, hey, pull your hands back.
Yeah.
Let's just sit down. Take a deep breath. Shh. I'm doing the whole thing and I'm trying to, hey, let's just sit.
Teaching him to be in public,
Yes.
which is what you're doing.
Yes. Well, he stands up and he puts his hand on the back of this chair again. And this fucking woman whips around so fast and is like, looks at me. And I went, I'm so sorry. He doesn't understand. He has autism. Keep in mind, she has a child who has autism on the stage graduating. Do not turn around and look at me crazy because I will come unglued. And she thankfully took a deep breath and was like, oh, and then turned back around. But like, if you can hear, and this is my thing, even if my child doesn't have autism, if you can hear the parent is doing everything that they can, what were you gonna do? Turn around and dirty look the 5-year-old? Like, no, you're gonna get punched in the throat is what's gonna happen.
Or judge your parenting when you're actively trying.
Yeah, so that's a whole thing. That to me is and I saw that where they're like, don't stare at my kid when he's stimming. Like, I'm so going to be that parent because my child does stim out loud.
Yeah.
So if you start looking at me crazy, I'm going to look crazy at you back.
We gotta advocate.
We
need to go to a rage. We need to go to a rage room, you guys. We should record that.
No. People be like, what the fuck is wrong with
Ben
her?
and Paige, I think, would literally... Ben and Paige would be, I'd be standing back like,
You'd be blowing shit up in the corner.
I don't need this. I'll throw a glass.
No, literally, Cindy's like, oh. Me and Ben would be like, just really. Yeah. Well,
I cannot. Hello, husband.
That makes me so excited because this next episode, I do believe, is going to be Ben's story. Ben's got a lot of trauma.
Yeah. So this episode is kind of our catching up, guys. You guys are going to see my husband. You're going to see Kyler's husband. You're going to see Ben again. I'm so excited.
Yeah,
we did miss y'all.
Jamming.
I think those are our updates. Yeah, I had a child turn 8 and Bear's 8. Can't believe it.
Oh, shit. I've got another kid in my house.
Yeah. I was like, did we go through all the kids? I don't even know.
No, I've got, I have a 17-year-old in my house.
Yes.
For a whole month, you guys. My oldest sister, she has 3 children. One is in adoptive care right now. The other, we do not know her whereabouts. And the third is with me. Currently, he lives with his dad full-time in Missouri. And so every year out of the summer, he comes for a month and 2 weeks at Christmas. He was going to his foster mom's house for the last couple of years, and now he's coming to mine. And
so
it was
2 17-year-olds.
wonderful. It's been so much fun. It's a lot of fucking energy. And they're mischievous. I mean, they think that
Teenage boys.
I'm mean. They think I'm old and that I don't know.
And you
know.
know.
I'm like, baby, I made these games. Okay, you can't pull the wool
I was
over my
the
ass.
original.
The OG up in this house. No, they're a blessing and they're making me crazy. They're absolutely so much fun. But oh my gosh, it will be everything in me to keep them out of an accident or from impregnating somebody this summer.
Gosh.
That's really all you can
And
hope
that's the
for.
truth, guys.
That's the truth,
Real
y'all.
life.
Once they hit teenage years, you're just like, please don't get anybody pregnant.
I literally called Paige and I was like, hey, Paige. And I hear someone in the background, hey, who is it?
Yeah,
and I was like,
literally, he wants to out of my phone. My best friend calls and he was like, hey, girl. I was like, boy, she's 30 years old. He was like, that ain't ever stopped me. I'm like, take your ass up the stairs.
I cannot.
Yeah.
But the babies love him.
Oh, babies love him. The babies love him so much. He's having a good time. We're taking him all the places. We're going to a Rangers game, all the fun stuff. I took him to get creme brulee for the first time, and we went to a Brazilian steakhouse. He was like, I wore a wife beater. He was like, I can't be in this wife beater in here. You didn't tell me it was fancy. I was like, it's not. It's no big deal. But we had a good time. And
so she's busy this summer, you
we're
guys.
having fun. Yeah, I'm busy.
Yes.
I'm busy. And I'm also juggling as I am the caretaker for my sister, how that looks with her son being here and protecting him from that.
Yeah, I was curious that because she is local. And now
Yeah.
her son is here. And does he want to see her? Like, how do you navigate? Do you, want him to,
Every time he comes, he sees her. He has a cousin who will take him to see her. They have spoken already. He was on my phone and she called from an unknown number and he answered it. And so it was very kind of unexpected because she calls me. People don't know how much I take care of her, but like 3 to 4 times a week, I have to send her food. Or, like I am a full-time caretaker for my 38-year-old sister. And then that comes with a lot of danger too. And so she asked to see him and he says he wants to see her. And,
I get that breath. It's a lot.
It's a lot because, and just to lay it all out on the table, she is not a good influence on him, right? How could she be? It's not like he can look at her and think, I want to do this
Because
with
she's
my
an
life.
active addiction.
Yes, absolutely.
And so that's very
And she's
hard.
voluntarily homeless. Like she would have places to go, but she wants to be able to use on her terms. And unfortunately, the places where she is allowed to go are not going to allow that. So she's voluntarily homeless, which means she doesn't look in the best condition every time we
Right.
see her,
Right.
You don't know when's the last time she took a shower or ate a real meal or is this outfit clean? You don't like where'd she sleep last night?
Yeah.
There's so many different factors that I feel like a 17-year-old doesn't need to see. And as much as there's anger expressed behind the pain there is still so much pain. And while I struggle with this because at 17, I would have done anything to see my mom.
As I was just about to say, best what it was like to want your mom.
And I was
get
so
it.
angry at her,
Yeah.
but I still would have done anything. So like I can see the anger in his eyes and then I can also see the wall come down whenever she's present.
Yeah.
That it does trigger something in me to think like, oh God, I know exactly what you're feeling right now and how hard that must feel.
Yeah.
And how hard it must be. So I'm trying to navigate the protecting aspect because obviously my mother was not an addict.
Yeah.
So there was not that factor to it. She was a healthy person with a good job and was
Right.
doing well and a good marriage. And so it wasn't like I was exposed to danger.
Right.
Him going around her really does expose him to an extreme danger. My sister lives in Oak Cliff. This is not a safe neighborhood to be in anyways. So
And he's at a very moldable age where
very
he's
moldable.
going to choose things in his life,
and he wants her to accept him.
Yeah.
So that
Very
scares
hard.
me. So I would never allow him to go by himself or
Yes.
to spend time alone together. I don't trust what could be said in front of him.
And you have to do that,
Yeah. So I'm trying to
get it.
navigate it. That's a really hard one, guys. That's an everyday thing. And honestly, I'm trying to make the best decisions and be very protective, and at the same time, understand he loves her.
Yep.
And that, unfortunately with an addiction this serious, I don't know when or if he'll see her again.
Yeah.
And so that's also hard to say no to because then, he'll say, well, what if she dies?
Yeah.
And that puts so much
It
guilt.
does. And then you remove yourself from it and you're like, well, yeah, I don't want to see my mom. Like,
Right.
It's such a
But
hard
then you
thing to
put yourself
navigate.
back in it and
You
you're
do.
like, I'm the responsible
You know
aunt
what
and I
trauma
have
you
to
have,
protect you. Yes.
Yes.
So it's like, it's
Yes.
also hard because in his eyes, I'm the asshole. Because I'm
I'd
not
rather be
cool,
the asshole than,
and in
let you
10
get hurt.
years you won't think that.
Yep.
And I love you and I'm sorry that you think that way about me right now, honey, but it's for your best interest.
right.
It's because I love you so much.
right.
So it's been hard, but it's also been a
You're
huge
balancing a lot.
huge blessing all the damn time, y'all, all the damn time.
Not only her own emotions.
I'm getting very used to it at this point. I really feel like I can't wait
Your
for my next
emotions.
lifetime.
A toddler who's almost going to be 2, those kind of
Yeah.
like toddler emotions.
Teething and nursing while she's teething. It's been fucking great.
A 5-year-old who is at that independent stage.
Yeah,
two,
who has
2
autism.
hormonal teenagers.
Yep.
A husband who's wild.
And then a very traumatized 17-year-old and a sister who has a lot going on in her own sense. So it's been crazy. And then that doesn't even touch the other side of my family. It's always like this. Cindy said, because my roof was leaking the other day, and Cindy was like, your fucking life is like a movie.
I'm like, I'd be like, how's Paige doing today? She'd be like, well, this happened. I'm like, what the
Hanging in
hell
there.
is happening?
Same shit, different day. Y'all, this is such a fucking funny story. This just shows the sweetness of my child. So upstairs in our bathroom, one of the bathrooms has been leaking since we moved into the house. There was a pipe that was not connected underneath the sink. When they turned the water on, it leaked. It caused a leak downstairs, whatever. Well, Vance took a shower upstairs, and it continued the leak. And we were like, something's got to be busted in this pipe. Like, it has to be that it was just coming from a pipe in the ceiling.
Yeah.
And so we told Vance, hey, you can't take a shower upstairs. They're going to come repair it. Everything's getting dried out. So just like take a shower downstairs. Keep in mind, there's 4 bathrooms in this house. Okay. There's 4. At 2 a.m. the other day, I wake up because I hear the Roomba going off because Vance had kicked it, and it makes a ding, ding, ding sound. And then I was like, great, it's going to wake up every child in this house. So I get up to go to the kitchen to turn off the Roomba, and he's still standing down there. And I was like, what are you doing? You know, and we're just like chatting, but I hear, and I was like, what the fuck? And I look over, and the ceiling is leaking again. And I went, oh no, Vance, your bathroom. I was like, did you take a shower? And with the most purest heart, he goes, no, Paige, I didn't take a shower. I took a bath. You're fucking
You told me not to take a shower, not a bath.
Oh my God. I was like, Vance, honey, they drain. Show me where the shower drains versus where the bath drains, please. I mean, just the purest. It was so, I didn't take a shower. I took a bath. Like, if you want to know what it's like having teenagers, that's it. That right there, that's it. Mm-hmm.
I cannot.
That child has flooded
what?
every bathroom. We've lived in 3 different houses, and every single bathroom he has ever had, he's flooded it. Every single one. Every one. We don't know how. And it's always the pipes. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you
putting down
doing?
the pipes?
Oh. Anyways, guys, I'm glad to catch up. We've had a lot to talk about.
Yep.
We're all hanging in there.
We're just happy to be back.
We are.
Happy to be back. And in this mindset, I think that even though everything seems heavy and we've had a lot of shit going on, both of us seem like we're in a good place right now.
Yeah. No,
So,
for sure.
Rocking it.
We are.
Rocking and rolling. How y'all feeling about next month? We have been a podcast for a year. Isn't that crazy?
A year, guys.
1 year.
We've talked about a lot of things. We've had some cool people on.
Yeah.
We would love to bring more on.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But, you know.
We're in a long-term relationship now. Look at us. Are you gonna get me a cake to celebrate?
I'm gonna get us a cake, actually. I'm gonna get us a cake.
Lordy.
Y'all don't even know the next episode. She's referring to.
Just wait. We'll catch you guys next week with that one.
Yes. Oh God. Thank you for catching up, guys.
Yeah, thanks so
We
much.
had questions, but we kind of just rambled on.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank y'all for being here.
Yeah.
If you know anybody who wants to work with us, please let us know. We ain't too proud to ask you.
No, I ain't too proud to beg.
Anything, small companies, you know, big companies. Let us know.
Preferably. Yeah.
Send them this video.
People who
and
are
say,
going to be
"Hey."
good to their moms. If
Yes.
you know, you know.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Every Tuesday we'll be here. And as always, keep those giggles going.
And the love flowing.
And until next time, Mom knows best.
Or at least she's really trying her best.
We are. Bye, guys.